everyone and happy Monday. Welcome to the new planner page from Johanna Basford. Now we have quite a detailed page here and I was umming and ahhing about what pencils to use, and I've grabbed some Castle Arts, but I grabbed my Harmonious set. Now it's quite a long time since I've used these actually in a video, and I thought it was about time, and I thought some of these candy colours would work quite well, but we're a little bit limited colour wise with this set, but I thought it would just be fun to try it and see what we can do with it really. If you don't have this set, I have got some comparison charts in my Ko-fi shop available for free, where you can find these sort of nearest equivalents in other sets, such as I think Polly's, Prisma's, I can't remember what other sets, but there's a few others as well. So you can have a go and get the nearest matches. You might also want to choose a set just got more pretty pinks in, maybe, anyway, but we're going to have a go and see what I can come up with really. So here is our page, it's our candy cart. So I've done this a few times, so it's nice to use something a little bit different. Oh, it's cold today. Right, where should we start? Well, let's start with this bit. It's not too small. We'll come in close. I haven't actually got my light on. Might be able to see better if I do that. Right, so let's do the sort of top part here. Now I usually do this in a stripe, so I'm having a little look. I'm going to grab the Dusty Rose, I think, to start with. Here it is. Now these are, as I say, Castle Arts pencils. Now they are only available on Castle Arts website. You can't get them on Amazon yet. It's when I'm recording this. There's been mixed messaging. When they first came out, I spoke to Castle customer services and they said they would be bringing them out on Amazon soon. But more recently I've seen messages on their socials where people have asked and they've said they haven't got plans to bring them out on their social media, so on their on Amazon. So I just am not really very sure what's going on. What I do know is they've started shipping out to more countries, more European countries, not all European countries, but a few more. So if you're by any chance from a European country that they didn't ship to before, it might be worth having a look. I'm sorry I haven't got the exact country names, but it's worth having a little look. So if you fancy a set, you can sort of go to their website and find out, or on their socials it might say if they ship to your country. But they definitely ship to UK and US. I'm not sure about Australia. I think they do, but of course shipping can be more expensive. I mean the UK and US shipping is reasonable because I think they have store warehouses, it's the right word, isn't it, in those countries, so it's a bit cheaper. But obviously it would get more expensive if you're further away. But as I said, of course, I do have the comparison charts. Now I am an affiliate for Castle. That's quite pretty, isn't it? I'm wondering, I like having a white and pink stripe, but I feel like if I leave it white, does it just look like I've been a bit lazy? Do we have a pale colour? I might use the calamine. I'm trying to find it. Oh, there it is. It's got a yellow coloured barrel, but it's a pink coloured pencil. They can be a bit confusing, these ones. So I'm just going to put a really light layer, look. Now I haven't done any sort of shading. I'm just trying to put down a nice, it's a little bit yellowy actually, but I think it just about works. Oops. I haven't done any. I'm going to put a little bit of shadow under here in a minute. But at the minute I'm just having fun blocking in some colour. I was actually just commenting, now it is only, what's the date today, the 13th of October. I'm getting quite ahead of my planner pages because of Johanna Basford's book launch coming up, and I know that I'm going to want to make lots of videos from that and concentrate my efforts there. I'm also sort of really organised at the moment. I'm going to use, I want a colour for this end and this bit, that sort of matches this sort of pink. I think maybe the flint would work. Let's grab it. Here it is. Oh. There we go. Flint. I need to sharpen it though. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, I'm getting ahead because but I've got really sort of ahead and enthused about doing lots. One of the reasons that I get a bit behind in recording, by my terms, obviously I'm still getting them out on time, but sometimes I'm only a few days ahead of myself, sometimes I'm a few weeks ahead of myself, and I think sometimes it's because when I'm recording I just run out of things to say, or you know, so I can't just record a video and not speak to you, or I just have the odd day off, or I get busy doing things that outside of the house or things like that. But at the moment I've just been quite engaged in it, and I'm even wondering whether it might be, I'm going to do this one too, that my menopause meds are helping my brain to work better, but I don't know. I really don't know whether it's that, or I'm still getting hot flushes, so I'm not sure if they're really doing anything. But you know, I haven't even been taking them for a month yet, or 3 weeks even, and you're supposed to wait 3 weeks before you even notice if you're getting any change in symptoms, so it might be a bit too early to judge. I'm just putting a bit of shadow under there. Sorry, I've sort of nudged the book. I'm aware that it's not in the middle. Now this piece here, what I think I'm going to do is keep with this sort of colour scheme through our cart. So I'm going to use this colour on the edge of here, and then sort of work through these colours so that we've got a sort of consistency through, because that's how I would do it. Now if I was doing the larger version in the book, I would do a darker edge on here and here to make this edge of the sign look slightly three-dimensional, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pull it off on this little tiny version. I mean, it's small enough as it is, but I might have a little go, but I might not. I'm making up my mind well, aren't I? Ooh, I've got a bit of a tummy ache this morning. My son had an upset tummy last week. I wonder whether I caught a bit of it. Ugh. But never mind, it's okay. It's bearable. Very much so. I'm quite used to having tummy aches anyway because of my sort of food intolerances and IBS. So, it's not. I know a lot of people have a lot worse. It's fine. Okay, so there's that sort of stick bit. I was actually going to do the cart in browns like wood, but I decided to change my mind, and I'm going to do the main bits in this colours in my hand and the wheels, and then the stripes in this colour. Why not? Let's mix it up a bit from how I would normally do it. That's the whole point of grabbing a different set of pencils, really, isn't it? Trying to step out of your comfort zone, do something a little bit different. It was quite interesting. I was just leaving a comment on Facebook before I popped over to do this, and it was Colour with Claire had posted a picture from a simplistic colouring book, should we say. It's an adult colouring book, I think, by Coco Wyo, but it's the drawings are very large. Now I've recently got some books myself a bit like that, where the drawings are really simple, and some people were saying, no, this is a child's book, it's wrong, can't do, they don't like it, you know, but the way she had coloured it was absolutely fantastic. I thought, no child would colour that well. And does it matter if the book is for children or for adults? Why does it matter? If you enjoy the pictures, grab it, colour it. I've coloured in a child's book. I was at my mum's house and she got some colouring out for my nephews when they were quite young. This is going back about 10 years or so, and they weren't interested in colouring, but me and my niece, who was a teenager at the time, I think, yeah, maybe, she was too old to do kiddies colouring books anyway, and we sat there and we coloured a picture together, and we had a whale of a time. And it was very hard to colour because it was a person, and we had no skin tone colours because at all, nothing. And the page before she coloured when she was a little child, and she coloured the face green because she had no other, there was no right colour. We had a good laugh at that, and it was a fairy as well with a green face, poor fairy. Anyway, but I think we might have chosen a picture, it wasn't a person actually, but we had a great time colouring together and nattering. And so there's nothing, you know, wrong with picking a picture that isn't, you know, is aimed at children. What's it matter? I'm just going to sharpen to do the wheels. I did say I was going to do a bit of shadowing at the top, and I never did. But whether I remember or not, we'll find out. There we go. Need a sharp pencil for these bits. Now at the moment I'm not doing anything too difficult. I'm just blocking in colours, experimenting with these different colours and seeing what we can get out of them, what looks we can get. I do tend to favour certain colours in this set, and sort of I'm going to do this one too because of the spokes needing a sharper pencil, and then as my pencil blunts a bit I can do the outside. Yeah, I do tend to favour certain colours, so I need to try and be a little bit more adventurous. I have noticed that we've got a candle flame to do, and how I'm going to do that I've got no idea. I'm going to have to probably just use the only yellowy colour that is in this set, which is the wheatgrass, because that's it. There's nothing else unless we do it green, grey or blue, purple. I think the wheatgrass might be the closest choice. This is where having a set that's a bit different just pushes you, and some people can't cope with that, and I understand that fully. If you just feel like you need to go with conventional colours or colours that in your head work, that's fine. Do what's comfortable for you. If it makes you feel uncomfortable pushing out of your comfort zone, then don't do it. But I was reading a very interesting book actually on anxiety, because I'd seen an advert for a podcast with the person who wrote the book, and his approach was very, very different to anything I'd heard of before. And as someone who studied psychology and a lot of pop psychology and did my dissertation on stress, I was just absolutely fascinated to find out what his approach was, how different it was to things that I'd read before. And he was talking about how we often, because we've done things in the past and been burnt, you know, we've had experiences that have stressed us basically. I'm going to use this one now, back to the Dusty Rose. We're going to start doing these stripes across. I'm going to start with this one. Just checking you can see. It's a bit fiddly here, I'm going to have to keep a sharp pencil. Because we've had an experience in the past that has caused us stress, then we avoid that experience again. For example, he gives the example a lot of the time of being bitten by a dog, because it's quite an easy example to imagine, I suppose, for most people. That if you as a child were bitten by a dog, even if you can't remember, then when you see one again, you'll get your brain brings back that experience, because your brain tries to protect you. That's how we evolve. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? That, you know, if you get attacked by something, then your brain wants you not to do that, not to happen again, or else you're not going to survive. So that's what happens. But of course, sometimes we don't want that to happen, because if it was like you try to, let's say you try to cross the road and a car came and nearly hit you, and then you decide, your brain, every time you try and cross the road you get stressed. I think we'll go to here. That can make things, what's that? I think we'll colour over that. I don't know what it is. We've got some stripes through here as well. Smaller stripes. I don't know, I'll work it out as we go. That you might never cross the road again. But if we practice going into a situation that has, I'm just going to colour over that, has previously stressed us, and the more we do it, the more we realise that actually it's okay. As long as it is a situation where we're probably going to be okay, if you know what I mean. You have to almost think about the logical side, try and give yourself a bit of a talking to. In certain situations, some are best avoided still, obviously. But a lot of things that stress us, we can probably cope with. Because I was thinking, you know, I used to get really stressed driving, and my sister was like, oh, you'll be fine when you're on your own and you're not being judged by someone in the car with you. And I look back to once I passed my test and I was driving on my own, I had quite a few experiences where I got stressed on my own. 3 incidents where things went very wrong. Not thankfully too serious, but could have been. For example, the first one, I was trying to do a hill start and I rolled into a car. This is Calamine behind me. She was very close to me and I cracked her number plate. She was lovely and it was all fine. We resolved it. But then I got distracted and drove into a fence. And I didn't drive right into it. I was driving alongside it and I veered into it. And it had barbed wire in it, scratched the car. And then another instant where I was waiting at some traffic lights. I had my foot on the foot brake only. We're on a hill. And I was looking in the mirror doing my hair. And the car started rolling and the car behind beeped me because I was rolling into him. And so it was all fine. But those instances were enough to put me off ever wanting to drive again. And I feel that was probably the right decision, because all of those things happened because I wasn't paying attention. So I think I just didn't concentrate enough, and I got so scared and nervous every time I got in a car anyway. I think perhaps I was so scared that I couldn't pay proper attention or something, I don't know. Oh, I also once was drove, the only time I ever drove my parents, we went out for a meal and I drove, I don't know why, and my husband had to drink so I had to drive. We came out of the pub or whatever it was, restaurant, and I'm trying to work out where to go next. I'm going to go at the top here. I'm going to do the background of this with this pale colour that I've just been using, the calamine. And because there were no markings on the road either as I pulled out of the pub or on the road itself as I pulled out, and it was dark and I was driving and suddenly one of them, I don't know who, my mum I think, said, you know, you're on the wrong side of the road. I had absolutely no idea that I was driving on the wrong side of the road. So yeah, I think I'm a bit of a liability, so I think it's probably wise that I'm not on the road. But anyway, that's that. However, there are a lot of other examples of things where I have avoided doing things when I really should perhaps push myself to do it. These 3 here, I'm going to fill in the little screw holes with this calamine. I don't know if it's even going to show up. And then I'm going to do the main part in the Dusty Rose. But yes, for example, going abroad. I don't want to go abroad on holiday because I keep saying, oh, I haven't got a passport, it's too expensive. But there are actually, that's not the real reason. I have to admit to you and to myself, it's not the real reason. I'm going to find some green for these flowers. I think we'll go for the seafoam green. It's one I use a lot from this set. Quite hard to see the name, seafoam green. I don't want to have to organise it. I know that I'll be the one that has to organise everything. So I will have to book everything, decide on, you know, where we go, book the accommodation, book the flights, transfers or hire car, sort out, if it's a hire car, I have to sort out an international driving licence for husband, sort out the visas, the passports, everything. And then when we get there, the food, we'd have to self-cater because me and husband get upset stomach at everything we eat. No, we have so many food intolerances. I am going to use the wheatgrass for the centre of the flowers, so it's really, really pale, and also, you know, what we do, where we go, all that sort of thing, and I just don't want to do it, you know. Now these flowers, it's tempting to go for a really deep colour, but I don't want them to stand out over the cart really. Our cart's quite pale, subdued, so I think I might just go for the wild berry colour. Is it going to match? No, let's go for the spring heather. I've got to find these colours. I don't know what, they're not in the order in the tin, but they're on my swatch chart, which doesn't help me. I don't think. What's that next to? That's next to that. No. Is it that? Oh, there it is. Not that far away. Oops. Spring heather. I think I'm going to have to. I'm going to do them all the same colour. I'm a bit wondering what on earth I'm going to do with all the cakes and things. Now, if you would rather, you could use your pastel tints if you have those, or pastel colours for this. You'd get a bigger range of colour than I've got in this set, but I just want to use this set. As I say, stepping out of my comfort zone. I can cope with this sort of comfort zone stepping out of, but not driving or organising holidays. Right, before we move down and start doing the rest, I'm just going to do this bird just so I don't forget him. Now we have, let's have a look at our swatches again. We have these dark browns, far too dark for my liking, so I'm going to come down here and look at these greys and grey browns and think we'll do some of these. I'm thinking maybe the stone grey or beaver grey. I noticed there's often, the colours are often very similar. So I think I'll go for the stone grey. I've got to try and find it now. Oh, there it is. Not too difficult. Oh, I'm cold. I wish I'd put on my, I've got my pyjamas on. It is 10:30 on a Sunday morning. I have got up, I did have a shower and wash my hair, and, you know, but I just decided I wanted a pyjama day, even though I could really do with weeding outside in the garden, but anyway, but I don't know what my kids are up to. I should really have checked before I came in here. They're both up. One of them's a bit poorly with a cold, but I think he really should be doing a bit, trying to do a bit of work anyway, but I don't know, he did a bit yesterday. But I've left husband in charge. Here is moss grey. That's another thing I find hard, is leaving other people in charge. I would never leave anyone in charge of my business, my work. I couldn't do that. There we go. So we've got a sort of a cool grey here and a more brown colour here. Now the beak is teeny, and I want to do it in the wheatgrass, but it's not going to show up, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, now before we finish, I'm going to do a bit of shadowing on here. So we need a sort of darker colour here. I think I'm going to use the moonstone. Oh, I could do words. I'm going to give it a sharpen. Now I'm going to try what I said to you about doing the outline of this. So I'm going to go around the outside, just over and slightly beyond the outline, all the way around. As I said to you, it's quite difficult to do this without, my pencil isn't really sharp enough, without sort of going into the centre area of it all. I think the pencil blunts a bit too quickly. If you're doing it in the main book, you'll have a lot more space. Just going to do my best. Oh, wobbly lead. My pencil's broken entirely. Right, let's try that again. This is a brand new blade in this sharpener, well, pretty new. So the pencil shouldn't be breaking from that. Okay, let's try it. I just over sharpened it, I think. And then on the inside too. It is working. I don't know how well you can see. Sorry, I'm taking a bit of concentration. So yeah, I do feel a bit like maybe I should have made the effort and taken the children abroad. But they'll do it when they're old enough if they want to. There we go. Now, around these, I can hear a very loud noise. I can't work out what it is. No, washing machine's on, but I don't think it was that. I think it sounded more like outside. I did get woken up in the night by a helicopter and the fire engine. Now I'm not sure what to do in between each of these, whether to just leave them. I think I might leave them, but under here, can you see? Yeah. Bit of shadow here. Johanna's even drawn it in for us. There. And a little bit more. We'll just finish this off. So around the bottom of here. And here. And then in that bit there. And that bit there. I'm also thinking maybe we can put a bit of shadow under here, as if maybe that is sticking out slightly, the darker top part. Maybe it's overhanging the rest of the cart. And I think this one definitely is, so that needs a bit of shadow. We don't need to do it too dark, because it's quite a light colour that we've used. Also same here. No, I've got these loops on this one which I haven't coloured in yet. These. Tempted to just do those in the colour that I used for that, but I don't know what it was. I'm sure it wasn't flint, which is the colour I've got out. Maybe it was. Yeah, so I'm using flint for this. There we go. Right, back to our moonstone. Now we would have a bit of shadow under these wheels. That might be enough. Maybe maybe a bit under there, and here. Yeah. But I do often think that some people take their children away on holiday a little bit early, when they're a little bit too young to remember. It might be that they want a holiday, and so they just take their children with them, because this is seafoam green. I'm going to do all the leaves, I think. I think I'm going to do all the leaves with this. So they just take their children on holiday with them, so that they've got them, because they don't want to not be with them. So that's fine. But I think if you want to sort of have a memorable holiday, that your children are going to be remember it and learn from it, or have happy memories from it, or whatever, they need to be a little bit older. I mean, my husband, he was taken on holiday abroad by his parents when he was about 4 or 5. He can't remember it at all. And his brother was too young, and they left him behind with a neighbour, which is interesting. So he probably really enjoyed that, having one-on-one attention, not having to share his parents with his brother. But he doesn't remember it. We didn't go abroad until I was quite old. I don't think was I at school? I'm not sure if I was still at school or if I'd left. I didn't have the money, and then my dad got made redundant from a job he'd been doing for nearly 30 years, and he had been umming and ahhing about becoming a contractor because he knew the pay was much better, but he didn't want to he was concerned about the lack of stability. You don't get holiday pay, you don't get sick pay, you don't get money paid into a pension, you can be basically got rid of a month, sort of a day's notice. So all those things are a bit worrying when you've got a small family. So he was happy keeping his job. We've got some more leaves down here while in that time. But once he got made redundant, it sort of gave him that push to have to look for something else. So he looked for various contract jobs, and they paid so much more. He was probably being paid 10 times more, but he had to put quite a bit of that away into his pension. But it meant that he could retire. I think he was, I can't remember how old, 55 when he retired? Something like that, very young, really. Right, I think it's time to introduce some blue into our picture. And I was thinking I could potentially do all the china, pots, pans, things like that in blue to just add a new colour. And we have got a few blues. Let me show you. Oops. We have got this sort of night blue and a beautiful blue there, and these sort of greeny blues. But I'm thinking we're probably better off going for some of these, one of these paler blues. I think the Genetian blue, I think that's how you say it, is probably the best match, or the forget-me-not, one of those two. Actually, I might do the forget-me-not. I think that's probably the best match. So that's the one I am going to do. Here it is. We're going to use it for, as I say, all the pots, pans and plates, and I think we'll do it for the lamp and everything. I don't know what colour we're going to do our giraffe. We'll worry about him later. We won't worry about him. He's lovely. We'll make him cute later. Do it, say it that way. You could do this lamp in a sort of silvery colour, but I just want to match it all up really. So I've left a light bit in the middle there to make it look a little bit shiny. But there we go. I don't know why. There we are. Now I'm just seeing how long I've been going for, because I don't know. I think, yeah, it's going to get a bit fiddly. I can't decide whether to make this into a second. I think I will make a second video once I've done these blue bits, because we've got all the little details to go, so it's going to take some time. Got the balloons as well, mustn't forget those. So all the pots, pans, bowls, everything in this colour, I think. I find sometimes, I have to sharpen it, it can just take the decision making away by doing them all in the same colour, because it can be quite difficult working out what colour to do things. So you say, right, I'm just going to do all the china matching, because you know the store would look nice with all matching things. These jars, no, because they're I do them see-through, glassy looking. And we've got the flowers to do as well. I love the fact that we've got a teapot here. I'm making it a little bit darker on the edge and lighter towards the middle. Doing the same thing with all the pots and pans. I love the little teapot, the fact that we've got all this candy and sweets. And we've got a teapot and a giraffe, and then we've got like pencils. It's a bit random, isn't it? What would you buy from the store? I've got some apples at the bottom and an umbrella. So although I call it a candy cart, I like the alliteration. It's not really, is it? It's got a cup of tea. I think I'd have a cup of tea with some oat milk, decaf of course, and which I'm going to get in a minute actually. Decaf drink. And a windmill? Nah. I think I'd just have a cup of tea. Or some fish. No, just a cup of tea for me. These jars and things, I'll leave for now. We'll do the bucket. No, the plant pot. I might do the bucket. I haven't decided yet. I've seen this picture coloured with the seaside background, you know, the beach behind it. I thought it was such a fabulous idea. But if I could draw, I would have done a similar thing. But I can't, so I won't be. I don't even know if I'm doing a background because it's so pale. If you put a background in, you just risk it vanishing, really. So I think I probably won't. Mouse. Don't know what to colour its tail. Okay. Right, there is our start. I think I'm definitely going to leave it there for today. We've done 40 minutes. We could probably film another video with the rest of it, I should imagine. So there we go for now. So thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your Monday, and hopefully you'll tune in tomorrow for the next one. Please do like, subscribe and comment, and happy colouring.